I need to share something that's been keeping me awake at night. I've been monitoring the supply chain for 15 months now, and what I'm observing terrified me enough that I completely reorganized my entire pantry 3 weeks ago. Major distributors are quietly alerting retailers about 11 specific items that are about to become seriously scarce. Nobody's discussing this. The mainstream media isn't reporting it. Your neighbor has no clue. But the people who transport products from manufacturers to stores, they understand, and they're preparing. Tap that subscribe button because I'm going to keep revealing what the industry insiders are genuinely witnessing. Listen, grocery costs are climbing faster than most people can track. I've calculated the numbers for you. I assembled a free emergency pantry blueprint that identifies the precise 15 items you can obtain at Aldi or Walmart today to feed your family for 2 weeks. It's 28,000 calories for less than the expense of a takeout pizza. You can grab that shopping list for free at the link in the description, so you can stop stressing and start preparing. Let me share what occurred last Tuesday that made everything click. I was having coffee with a guy who manages logistics for one of the largest food distributors in the Southeast. 23 years in the business, this man has witnessed every supply disruption you can imagine. And he told me something that made my blood run cold. He said the allocation notices he's receiving right now are worse than what he observed in early 2020. Worse? We're not discussing temporary delays. We're discussing fundamental production problems that aren't getting resolved anytime soon. He pulled out his phone and showed me the internal communications. Item after item flagged with red warnings, reduced production capacity, raw material shortages, transportation issues. And then he said something I'll never forget. He looked me dead in the eye and said, "If you haven't started adjusting your household stock by now, you're already behind." So here's what I did. I went home that night and I started making calls. I reached out to every contact I have in food production, distribution, and retail management, and what they shared lines up perfectly. These 11 items are the ones you need to focus on right now, not next month. Right now, item number 1 is canned tomatoes, all varieties. Diced, crushed, whole, sauce, paste, all of it. California grows approximately 95% of the processing tomatoes in the United States, and California is experiencing the worst water allocation crisis in recorded history. The water restrictions this year are permanent structural changes to how much water agricultural regions can access. I spoke with a farmer in the Central Valley 2 weeks ago. This year, his water allocation was cut by 60%. You cannot grow the same amount of tomatoes with 60% less water, so he reduced his planting by half. Now multiply that across thousands of farms. Production is down massively. Here's what a procurement manager for a major grocery chain told me. Their tomato product orders for the next quarter are being filled at approximately 67%. That means for every 100 cans they order, they're receiving 67, and it's getting worse each month. The tariffs on imported tomatoes from Mexico are still in effect, so the backup supply that would normally compensate for California shortages is economically unviable for most retailers. I personally visited 4 different stores last weekend. 3 had noticeably thinner tomato sections. Some varieties were completely out. Canned tomatoes are the backbone of home cooking. Chili, soups, stews, pasta dishes, pizza sauce. If you cook at home, you use tomato products. I now maintain a minimum of 100 cans at all times. Mix of diced, crushed, sauce, and paste. It cost me approximately $80, but I'm rotating through it constantly. 6 months ago, a can was 99 cents. Last week, the same brand was $1.49. That's a 50% increase. My strategy is simple. Every time I go shopping, I purchase 10 cans. Spread it across different stores. Be reasonable, but be consistent. Item number 2 is butter. Real dairy butter. The problem isn't where you think it is. Everyone assumes if there's a butter shortage, it must be a milk problem. Wrong. There's plenty of milk. The issue is processing capacity and cost structure. Manufacturers can make more money selling cream for specialty cheeses, ice cream, and coffee products than turning it into butter. So when costs rise, butter is one of the first products where manufacturers pull back. Labor shortages at processing plants have reduced throughput. A regional sales rep told me his company has cut butter production by 15% this year while increasing higher margin products. This is industry-wide. Butter is one of those products that people don't think to stock up on because it's dairy. But here's the secret. Butter freezes beautifully. You can freeze butter for up to a year with zero quality loss. I currently have 40 pounds in my freezer. Buy butter when it's on sale. Leave it in the original wrapper. Put the wrapped sticks into a freezer-quality zip-top bag. Squeeze out the air. When you need butter, pull out a stick the night before. My family cannot tell the difference. Butter prices fluctuate wildly. Last winter, butter hit $7 a pound. But I was using butter I bought in summer for $3.50. 3 is pasta. All shapes, all brands. The reasons are more complex than you'd think. It's a perfect storm. First, durum wheat. That's the specific type used to make quality pasta. The majority comes from North Dakota and Montana. Last year, severe drought. Yields were down significantly. The wheat that did grow had lower protein content. Lower protein means lower quality pasta, so manufacturers need more wheat to produce the same quality. Add in transportation costs. Shipping costs have exploded. A trucking company owner said his fuel costs are up 42%. Then there's packaging. Cardboard and adhesive shortages have caused delays. Some manufacturers have had to slow production lines because they don't have enough boxes. Here's my approach. I keep 100 pounds of pasta in various shapes. Long pasta like spaghetti and fettuccine, short pasta like penne, rigatoni, and shells, small pasta like orzo and ditalini. Different shapes work better for different meals and sauces. It keeps meals interesting when eating from your stockpile. Storage is simple. Keep pasta in its original packaging if rotating regularly. For long-term, transfer to airtight containers or food-grade buckets. Pasta lasts years when kept dry. The price increase is real. 18 months ago, a pound of name-brand pasta was approximately $1.29. Now it's consistently over $2. Some stores are pushing $2.50. That's nearly double. So every time you buy pasta at today's prices, you're saving against tomorrow's even higher prices. Buy extra every trip. 10 boxes spread across brands and shapes. Item number 4 is cooking oils. Vegetable oil, canola oil, olive oil, all of it. This situation is legitimately global. Let me break down what's happening. Sunflower oil, which is a huge component of vegetable oil. A massive percentage of global production comes from Ukraine and Russia. The war has devastated production and export. That supply has essentially vanished from global markets, so manufacturers shifted to other oils. Soybean oil, canola oil, palm oil. But here's the problem. Demand for those oils was already high. Now you're asking them to also replace millions of gallons of sunflower oil. The system cannot handle it. Palm oil is facing production issues in Indonesia and Malaysia due to labor shortages and weather. Soybean oil production in Argentina was hit hard by drought. Add in that these oils are also used for biofuel production. As fuel prices rise, it becomes more profitable to turn vegetable oils into biodiesel. A buyer for a regional grocery chain told me cooking oil is one of the most difficult categories to keep in stock right now. They're getting allocated. Prices are insane. I've seen regular vegetable oil go from $3 for a big bottle to over $8. Olive oil is worse. A decent bottle that was $12 is now pushing $25. Here's what I did immediately. I bought 30 gallons of various cooking oils, 10 gallons vegetable oil, 10 canola, 5 olive oil, 5 coconut oil. That sounds like a lot, but think about how much oil you actually use. Cooking, baking, frying, salad dressings. Oil is essential. Storage is important. Keep it in a cool, dark place. Heat and light cause oil to go rancid faster. Vegetable and canola oil easily last a year, often 2. Olive oil lasts approximately 18 months. I rotate through my stock constantly. When I open a new bottle, I buy a replacement. Item number 5 is canned fish. Tuna, salmon, sardines, mackerel, all of it. The problems are environmental and logistical. Global fish stocks are under serious pressure. Overfishing, climate change affecting ocean temperatures, changing migration patterns. Fish populations aren't what they used to be. Tuna is increasingly regulated. fishing quotas are being reduced to prevent stock collapse. Less tuna caught means less tuna canned. Salmon is even more complicated. Wild salmon runs have been declining for years. Most canned salmon now comes from farmed sources. But salmon farming has its own issues. Disease outbreaks, environmental regulations, feed costs, all of this reduces production or increases costs. Then there's labor. Seafood processing is extremely labor-intensive. Many processing facilities are in remote locations and rely heavily on seasonal workers. A manager at a processing plant told me they're running at approximately 70% of normal capacity because they cannot find enough workers. I visited 3 stores last week specifically to check canned fish stock. All 3 had noticeably reduced selection. Some varieties were completely out. Prices have gone insane. Canned tuna that was $1 a can is now $2.50 or more. Wild caught. Salmon is pushing $6 a can. Here's why you need this in your stockpile. Canned fish is one of the most calorie-dense and protein-dense shelf-stable foods available. A single can of tuna has approximately 25 grams of protein. Salmon has omega-3 fatty acids that are critical for health, and it requires 0 preparation. Open the can and eat. In a crisis situation where cooking might be difficult or impossible, canned fish is gold. I currently keep 120 cans of various fish, mostly tuna, but also salmon, sardines, and mackerel. It cost me approximately $240, but that's 120 ready-to-eat high-protein meals. Storage is simple. Keep cans in a cool, dry place. Canned fish easily lasts 3 to 5 years. Item number 6 is peanut butter. This surprised me because peanut butter seems so basic and American. How could there be a shortage? Well, let me tell you what's happening. Peanut production in the U.S. is concentrated in a handful of states. Georgia, Alabama, Florida, and Texas grow the vast majority. These regions have been hit with increasingly unpredictable weather. Last year, excessive rain during harvest season in Georgia damaged a significant portion of the crop. Peanuts that sit in wet fields develop aflatoxin, a toxic mold. Those peanuts cannot be used for food production. They have to be destroyed. So immediately you have reduced supply. But here's what makes this worse. Peanuts are also used for peanut oil, which is in high demand. When peanut oil prices are high, more peanuts get diverted to oil production. Instead of being made into peanut butter, labor costs at processing plants have increased dramatically. A store manager told me peanut butter is on allocation from several major brands. They're not getting their full orders. Here's why peanut butter is critical. It's calorie-dense. 2 tablespoons have approximately 200 calories and 8 grams of protein. It requires no refrigeration even after opening. It lasts a long time. Unopened jars easily last a year or more, often 2 years, and it's incredibly versatile. You can eat it straight, spread it on bread, mix it into oatmeal, use it in sauces, or eat it by the spoonful for quick energy during a power outage. Last year, peanut butter became our go-to food. No cooking required. High energy, familiar taste. My kids actually looked forward to meals because peanut butter made everything better. I keep 40 pounds of peanut butter in my stockpile, mix of creamy and crunchy. That's approximately 26 large jars. Cost me around $130. Buy extra jars every shopping trip. Check the dates and rotate stock. Item number 7 is rice. I know rice is on every prepper list ever made, but hear me out because the situation right now is different. This isn't about panic buying. This is about production. India, the world's largest exporter of rice, banned exports of several rice varieties last year to protect domestic food security. That removed millions of tons from global markets instantly. Other countries tried to fill the gap. Thailand, Vietnam, Pakistan, but they cannot produce enough to replace India's exports. Now you might be thinking, the US grows plenty of rice. We do. But American rice production is also under pressure. Water shortages in California and Arkansas, 2 major rice-growing states, increased costs for fertilizer and fuel. A rice farmer in Arkansas said his costs are up 38% compared to 3 years ago, but the price he gets paid hasn't increased proportionally. A 20-pound bag of rice that was $15 a year ago is now over $22 in many stores. Some premium varieties have doubled in price. Here's my rice strategy. I keep 300 pounds of rice in various types. White rice for long-term storage because it lasts decades. Brown rice for better nutrition, though it doesn't last as long. Jasmine and basmati for variety because eating the same thing every day destroys morale. Storage is critical with rice. For long-term, use food-grade buckets with gamma seal lids. Add oxygen absorbers before sealing. This removes oxygen and prevents bugs. Stored this way, white rice lasts 30 years or more. Rotate your stock. Buy rice consistently every shopping trip. Add a bag or two. Prices aren't going down. Item number 8 is powdered milk. This ties into the butter situation because both are dairy products facing similar pressures. Powdered milk production requires significant processing capacity and energy. As energy costs have increased, production costs have gone up dramatically. Some manufacturers have reduced production because margins are too thin. But here's the bigger issue. There's increasing global demand for powdered milk, particularly from Asia and Africa. This is pulling supply away from the US domestic market. A lot of people don't keep powdered milk because they think it tastes bad. And yeah, if you're drinking it straight, reconstituted powdered milk doesn't taste quite like fresh milk. But here's the thing. In cooking and baking, you absolutely cannot tell the difference. And in a situation where fresh milk is unavailable, powdered milk is a lifesaver. Here's how I store powdered milk. Don't leave it in the cardboard box. Cardboard absorbs moisture and air gets in. Your powdered milk will clump and go bad. Within months, transfer it immediately to Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers or use food-grade buckets with tight lids. Stored properly, powdered milk lasts 15 to 20 years. Yes, decades. I keep 50 pounds in my stockpile. It cost approximately $150. Here's a pro tip. Mix half reconstituted powdered milk with half fresh milk for drinking. Your family gradually gets used to the taste. Then when you need to use only powdered milk, the adjustment isn't as jarring. Use powdered milk in all your baking and cooking now. Pancakes, muffins, cakes, creamy soups, it works perfectly. Item number 9 is canned beans, all varieties. Black beans, kidney beans, pinto beans, chickpeas, all of it. Bean production requires significant water, and drought conditions in key growing regions have reduced yields. North Dakota, which grows a huge percentage of US beans, had serious drought conditions during the last growing season. Lower yields mean less supply hitting the market. But here's the processing bottleneck. Canning capacity is limited. There are only so many canning facilities, and they're running at maximum capacity. Trying to keep up with demand across all product categories. When one product line has issues, it affects everything because they're all competing for the same canning lines. Then there's the aluminum can shortage. This affects all canned goods, including beans. Labor is another huge factor. Bean processing is labor-intensive. A procurement specialist told me their orders for canned beans are being filled at approximately 70%. That means for every 10 cases they order, they're getting 7. Here's why canned beans are essential. They're shelf-stable protein that requires minimal preparation. Open the can, heat them up, and you have a complete meal. They're incredibly versatile. You can make chili, soups, salads, burritos, rice, and beans. A can of black beans that was 80 to 90 cents 2 years ago is now $1.69 in my local stores. Some organic varieties are pushing $3 a can. I currently keep 200 cans of various beans. Black beans, pinto beans, kidney beans, chickpeas, white beans. It cost me approximately $280, but that's 200 protein-packed meals. Storage is simple. Keep cans in a cool, dry place. Canned beans easily last 3 to 5 years. My strategy is to buy 10 cans every shopping trip. Item number 10 is oats. Both rolled oats and instant oats. Oat production is concentrated in specific regions. Canada grows a massive percentage of the world's oats. The US also grows oats, primarily in the upper Midwest. Both regions have experienced weather issues that affected yields. Drought in some areas, excessive rain in others. Either one damages crops. Oats require very particular drying and processing. If the moisture content isn't right, they spoil quickly. Processing facilities have struggled with equipment issues and labor shortages, which has reduced their capacity to turn harvested oats into the rolled oats. or instant oats you buy at the store. Add in the increased demand for oats. Oat milk has become incredibly popular in the last few years. This has pulled a significant portion of oat production away from traditional food products. I've noticed at stores that the oat sections are less stocked than they used to be. Some stores are down to just a couple of brands. Prices have increased noticeably. A large container of rolled oats that was $4 is now $6.50 or more. Here's why oats are critical. They're incredibly versatile. Oatmeal for breakfast, obviously, but also granola, baking, oat flour. If you grind them, thickening for soups. Nutritionally, oats are fantastic. High fiber, decent protein, and they keep you full for hours. In a survival situation, that sustained energy is crucial. Oats last a long time when stored properly. For long-term storage, put them in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers or in food-grade buckets. Stored that way, they last 10 years or more. I keep 100 pounds of oats, mix of rolled oats and instant oats. Cost me approximately $60, but that's hundreds of meals. Item number 11 is coffee. I know some of you are thinking coffee isn't essential, but let me tell you, in a high-stress situation, the psychological value of coffee is absolutely massive. Beyond that, coffee is facing some of the most serious production challenges of anything on this list. Coffee is grown in a very specific climate band called the coffee belt. Equatorial regions with the right temperature, rainfall and altitude, and climate change is hammering these regions. Brazil, which produces approximately 1/3 of the world's coffee, had devastating frosts last year that destroyed huge portions of the crop. Frost in coffee-growing regions is rare, but it's happening more frequently. Vietnam, the second-largest producer, has had drought issues affecting yields. Colombia has dealt with excessive rain and labor strikes. All of this adds up to reduced global coffee production at a time when demand continues to increase. Coffee is one of the most traded commodities in the world. Price fluctuations happen fast and they're dramatic. In the last 18 months, wholesale coffee prices have increased over 70%. That's not a typo. I've been tracking coffee prices at my local stores. A standard 12-ounce bag that was $8 a year ago is now $11. Some premium brands are pushing $15? Here's my coffee strategy, and I'm deadly serious about this. I currently have 60 pounds of coffee in my stockpile. Whole beans and ground, mix of regular and decaf, dark, medium, and light roasts. It cost me approximately $400 to build that stock. But at the rate prices are increasing, that coffee will be worth significantly more in 6 months. Beyond the financial aspect, think about the morale factor. In a crisis, starting your day with a normal cup of coffee provides psychological stability. It's a small piece of normalcy when everything else is chaos. Storage is important. Keep whole beans in airtight containers in a cool, dark place. For long-term storage, vacuum seal coffee, or use Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. So, there you have it. The 11 items that are facing the most serious supply chain pressure right now. Canned tomatoes, butter, pasta, cooking oils, canned fish, peanut butter, rice, powdered milk, canned beans, oats, and coffee. These aren't random picks. These are the products that industry insiders are genuinely worried about based on production data, allocation notices, and supply chain reports that most people never see. Now here's what you need to understand. I'm not telling you to panic. I'm telling you to prepare intelligently. There's a massive difference. Panic buying clears shelves and creates artificial shortages that hurt everyone. Intelligent preparation means buying extra consistently over time, rotating your stock, and building a buffer that protects your family without harming your community. Here's my challenge to you. Pick 3 items from this list. Just 3? Start there. This week, when you go shopping, buy extra of those 3 items. Next week, add 2 more items to your rotation. Within a month, you'll have started building real food security for your family. And here's the beautiful part. Even if nothing bad ever happens, even if supply chains magically fix themselves tomorrow, you haven't lost anything. You're buying food you're going to eat anyway. You're just buying it now at today's prices instead of later at higher prices. That's not prepping. That's just smart financial planning. But let me be brutally honest with you. The people who are in positions to know what's really happening in the supply chain, they're not waiting. They're acting now. the farmer. I talked too. He has 6 months of food stored. The logistics manager. He's building a year's supply. The grocery store procurement specialist. She told me her pantry looks like a small warehouse. These aren't conspiracy theorists. These are professionals who understand the system, and they see what's coming. So the question isn't whether you should prepare. The question is whether you're going to act on the information you now have, or whether you're going to wait and hope everything works out. And if you found this video helpful, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because I'm going to keep bringing you information that the mainstream sources aren't covering. Information that could make the difference between your family being comfortable or struggling. When things get tight, drop a comment below and let me know which items you're going to start stocking first. And if you haven't grabbed that free emergency pantry blueprint yet, the link is in the description. 15 items, 2 weeks of food, less than the cost of takeout. Get it now. Prepare smart. Protect your family.